Marissa did a great job all this week. Actually, we've been doing a lot of marketing training. Started last week on our master class. Tuesday, we went through the DOS advertising guidelines and compliances, things that will get you in trouble if you don't brand yourself correctly and pay attention to compliance. But then Aaron and Marissa did an awesome job doing a presentation on how to do your personal branding, telling your story, some of the social media platforms, best use, best practices. What are the ABCs? Anyone remember? Maya remembers. What's the ABCs when you're branding yourself?
Awareness, build trust, community.
Boom! Look at that, Marissa. You taught somebody something, right? Good stuff. So no matter what social media platform you're on, when you're looking for content to post, education, right? Awareness, show your buyers and your sellers maybe a tip, post a quick tip or something that they can learn from. Or, right now, pay attention to interest rates. We just listened to a podcast the other day that our broker put out and forecast that interest rates are going to continue to climb in 2022. So what's that mean? That means that if you're looking to buy this year, don't wait, because waiting is only going to cost you more downward. So that's an example of an awareness post. What's the B for?
Build trust. Building
trust. By building trust, you could talk about how you were able to help somebody get through a hurdle, a tough time, navigate. Maybe, I've been working with these clients. They put through 8 different offers, but they stuck with it. They listened to what I said to them. And as a result, I'm proud to say that they were able to secure a house and they're going to be moving in the next couple of weeks. Like that type of a post or story, as we talk about always telling a story, will also build trust. And then community, if you're participating in a school event, maybe it's, a sports game or a game that you went to, or maybe announcing, hey, just want to let you guys know that this weekend there's something going on downtown. It's a great event that you should partake in. You're sharing posts about your community as well. So I thought that was great, ABCs of posting. And also when you're putting your request through for marketing, go to mirandamarketingrequest.com. You'll see the template, a menu of services, a lot of the templates that we already have designed with the right colors, the right logos, really just putting in your nice headshot. We talked about the importance of a headshot and your contact information so we could produce all those marketing materials for you. If there's anything unique or special that you need, you could put that request in there and then we'll review it and address it accordingly. Moving into today is where we're going to really start training going forward. Up until right now, we kind of give you guys orientation where to find certain resources, get a little bit of sales training with DISC personality. But now we're going to start to incorporate all that. And why do you want to brand yourself and market yourself is so that you can attract prospects and attract leads. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about lead generation today. And I'm going to talk about your database and building your business by referral is the foundation that you really want to use to start your business off correctly. Is you want to have that database and build your business, because once you start to have that database, next week I'm going to talk about the system that you guys have, the CRM, customer relationship management tool that you could use to manage your database. This tool is like great to have a database. You could have an Excel spreadsheet, you could have a phone book, your contacts, you can look at your Facebook and get the names. But if you're not organizing those names into a collection of relationships somewhere and then using a tool to constantly drip, as I like to say, on that database so that you can create that top of mind awareness, you're not going to get that repeat referral business that we're going to talk about today, right? So we're going to get into next week how to use the system, the database for that, and then some advanced skills that once you have that database in that system, all right, what are some of the things I could do, like market to them, like sending them, automatic, listings that they're looking for, maybe sending them information about their community, maybe sending them newsletters, etc. So we'll talk about that. This week, I am going to, what I usually do is I bring a lender in that's going to educate you guys and teach you guys all the current loan products. And what's going to be important about this round, this segment, is there is going to be a lot of change in the next few months. It's going to be very volatile with regards to interest rates. And what's going to happen is we're going to constantly be asking your buyers to get pre-approved every few weeks. Why is that? Anyone know why it's important to have them get pre-approved every few weeks?
Because of the change of the interest?
Yeah, what they qualify for today, if the interest rates jump even a few basis points, they might not qualify for the same home next week. They're not automatically going to understand that. And you telling them that might not resonate well. It might sound like it's negative. So you want to pull in a good partner, a good lender that can pre-approve them and also has a trigger. I love when I get a lender that says, hey, remember that couple that you sent me last week? I pre-approved them at 425, at a rate of, I pre-approved them up to 425. Well, when I did that, the rate was 3.6. Well, now the rate is 402. They don't qualify for that amount anymore. Here's the new amount. I'm going to send them a new letter just to let them know it's been adjusted based on interest rates so that they know that they're not looking, or you're not looking and showing them houses that they're not going to qualify for. before. It's very important that we stay on top of that right now in a climbing interest rate environment. That'll be coming up. That'll be an important one to attend, talking to the lender. Home inspection process. We usually have a home inspector come in. I haven't picked the lender or the home inspector yet. I have a few that usually do a good job sharing the latest and greatest things that you guys need to be aware of. So we'll get that going. But then once you guys are armed with all this information, you're ready to start working on a buyer presentation. How am I going to educate prospects when they come through my funnel and I get them in front of me? The goal is to get an appointment. When I get them in front of me, how am I going to educate them so that I can get a buyer agreement signed without any resistance? It's going to be in their best interest. I'm going to explain that to them, right? How to get it signed and how do I limit the amount of showings? And right now in this environment, it pains me, kills me when I hear agents going, oh, I showed this person 20 properties and they still haven't been able to find anything, or they're not getting their offers accepted. Well, if I start to go back to the beginning and start to look and dissect what the problem is, usually I find out two things. Did you do a buyer presentation? No. Did you even meet with the buyer prior to going and showing properties? No. Do you know what their top 3 priorities are? No. Do they know how to write a multiple offer? Are they prepared to go strong on a house that they love, or are they still seeing a house that's listed at $300,000 and offering $295,000? Right? It's not going to work in this environment, in this market. So we're going to talk about how to prepare those buyers so they could strike and be successful in getting a house and how to educate them. Then after we're done teaching you guys about the buyers, it's all about the listings. We're going to finish strong with going into training about the listings, how to secure listing appointments, how to deal with the objections that you might get on a listing appointment, how to price listings right. Even still, I see a lot of agents letting the sellers dictate what the price is going to be. So there's a strategy around it and how to have that conversation with your sellers so that they're on board and they respect the strategy and they see how it's going to benefit them, right? So, and then we're going to finish off the course with our leading RE, talking about our relocation network, how it benefits our clients, and do a recap of everything that's here. So we're kind of right now just around the halfway mark. So that's why I wanted to take a little, few minutes to kind of recap what we're doing here. So any questions on anything we covered so far, or anything that you guys want to know more information on what we covered so far in the first few weeks? And I know Amy and Ryan, some of you guys that are newer, even Tyler, we are recording these. So we are going to post them on Workplace under Essentials of Real Estate. I highly encourage, definitely go back and watch the orientation one, the first one, and the Flex MLS overview. It's a new MLS, it's a new software. A lot of great stuff coming out of that training. I'd like to see too, Anne-Marie, I know you're sitting down with these guys one-on-one. I'd like to see you guys, maybe Anne-Marie, give them a property, pick a property, a random property, have them submit an offer to you. I'd like to see a multiple offer contest between the two of you guys, or the two of you guys. All of you guys here submitting it to Anne-Marie as the seller, prospective seller's agent. How about this, Anne-Marie? You'll be the seller's agent. I'll be the seller. Everybody here that's on this call, we'll pick an address. I'll have Anne-Marie send it out. You guys write up an offer for it, tailor it. I don't care if you're using an escalation clause, maybe you're using a love letter. Throw your best effort at making an offer. Use zip forms, use digital ink for signatures, send it to Anne-Marie, and then Anne-Marie is going to present to me next Tuesday all offers, and we're going to talk about it. Why is that important? Because I think the more you guys practice that whole routine, the easier it's going to be for you when you actually have to sit down with a buyer. There's nothing worse than when an agent says, oh, I got to get this offer in, the deadline's tomorrow at 12. And they really just in panic mode, especially usually happens on a Saturday night around 7 o'clock when they get a call from their buyer going, hey, I saw this house earlier. I want to make an offer. And that's when you have what I call the oh shit moment. All right, now what? So let's practice. Let's get in front of it and start practicing that scenario, put ourselves in that situation. What we'll do is we'll review it. And when we review it, we're going to say, wow, you did this great. Janelle, this looks great. Or Janelle, maybe add this here or take this out. Amy did a great job with her letter, etc. You guys see where I'm going with that. So I'd love to see us incorporate a lot of the training that's happened so far and utilize zip forms to get that done. So let's get into today. Let's talk about your business. Let's talk about database. Trish sent over some tools to me. I think I want to. A lot of this is going to come right from the same training we do in our masterclass. But I want to talk about this document first. You guys have probably seen this look a little bit differently. It's been updated. Marissa, did you update this one?
I did, yes. This is the new
Looks
one.
good. Looks good. It's got a different, fresh look to it. But talk about what makes a transactional agent versus a career agent. Tyler, if someone was to ask you, where do you work? What's your response?
Miranda Real Estate Group.
False. Who is your boss?
I am.
That's right. You work at 𝗕𝗂𝗀 Real Estate. You're the CEO. Your business just happens to be at Miranda Real Estate Group. So your business is 𝗕𝗂𝗀 at Miranda Real Estate Group. Now, I don't work at Miranda Real Estate Group. I work for myself. I have my license affiliated with Miranda Real Estate Group. We're partners. So I want you to start thinking about your career. I want you to start thinking about what I call the entrepreneurial mindset. versus the employee mindset. And I've shared that with you guys numerous times. I usually share it with newer agents. And the difference between the two, what's the difference between an employee mindset and an entrepreneurial mindset? Ryan should know this because I know I talked to you about it, Ryan. Anybody know the difference between an employee mindset and an entrepreneurial mindset?
Employee mindset, just going working like that nine to five there, but entrepreneurial is just going out and getting it for yourself, I guess.
Yeah, similar. So I'll tell you the difference. You're in the right direction there. Employee mindset is people are used to exchanging their time for money, right? You go to work 20, 30, 40 hours a week, you get a paycheck the following Friday, or maybe you get paid every 2 weeks for the time that you worked. With an entrepreneurial mindset, and that's what realtors are, you're 1099 independent contractors. You guys are business owners. You have to have an entrepreneur mindset. And the entrepreneur's difference is they wake up unemployed every day. So they're forced to convert their time into money. So it's really important how you guys use your time. So we're going to talk a little bit about building your business and what your business is so that you can be a career agent, not a transactional agent. But I also want you to keep in mind that you guys are entrepreneurs and have that entrepreneur mindset. And you're going to look at your time differently. You're going to look at your time and look at your day and saying, am I converting my time into money? In other words, are the activities that I'm doing today, are they going to translate to dollars? And that's what I find with some agents that struggle is we all have the same 24 hours in a day. But why is it that some agents can make $500,000 and some agents can barely make $5,000? You look at your calendar, I can show you why. And it's the entrepreneur will convert their time into money. So how do you do that? Coming to training, improving yourself, improving your skills, going out and getting leads and prospects, starting to build a database like we're going to talk about today that you can constantly start to work and have it start to generate, I call it at-bats, right? Opportunities for you to convert your time into money. And if you're not going out and doing those things in the front part of it and prospecting and lead generation and building your database, you don't have to worry about the rest. We always say each business has what we call a three-legged stool. You have your sales and marketing leg of a stool. You have your operations side of a stool. And you guys all have this in your business. And then you have your finance side. Don't worry about how you're going to do your paperwork. Don't worry about how you're going to pay for leads and bills, because without sales and marketing, generating leads, and without prospecting, without getting up every morning and spending an hour or two of your day following up with your database and working on the sales piece of it, the other two don't exist. And what happens is operations is kind of like when you're showing properties, you're going to inspections, you're doing the things to operate, right, your business. But if you're not lead generating, none of this matters, because eventually what happens is agents will start to get busy. They'll get 2 or 3 customers that are looking for properties. They'll start showing them properties. They'll start going to inspections. They'll do maybe an open house and they'll say, oh, I'm just so busy. What they do is they stop prospecting. And when you stop prospecting, what's going to happen is once those 2 or 3 clients close, now you're flat broke again, right? And you have to go start again at the beginning to start to look for new business. But what you want to do is you want to do it consistently. You want to prospect and lead generate every day and work on growing your database and growing your business. And I'll elaborate a little bit more as we go every day, so that even if you're working in your business, you have to remember to work on your business, right? I talked about this in promos for realtor events. And I know the last Crush It event we had, our good friend Anthony 𝗨𝗧𝗀𝗀 talks about it. You have to remember to always be slicing out and carving out a part of your day to work on your business. And that's that sales and marketing piece, right? So that means going through social media, responding to people, happy birthday, happy anniversary. Hey, let's catch up soon. I love this. I love that. It was nice to see you the other day. Let's get together soon. It's working on those relationships, because those relationships are what's going to generate your referrals to you. That's going to drive the rest of your business. It's going to drive your operations and then eventually your finances, right? So think about that 3-legged stool. When you're approaching your business, I want you guys to think of yourself as entrepreneurs. I want you to think of your CEO, wear a CEO hat of your own business. You guys are your own boss. And think about sales and marketing first, operations. I'm going to set up systems to operate, and I'm going to set up plans to efficiently serve my clients. And then finance, I'm going to take control of my expenses, my income. And as the income starts to come in, I'm going to do, going back to the screen I showed you guys before, the personal budget, and making sure that you're taking that check and you're putting some aside for your taxes. You're putting some aside to reinvest in your business. You're putting some aside for rainy days, right? So that's what a good business or entrepreneur approaches to a business. It's basic 101. Well, let's talk about in real estate what happens between a transactional agent versus a career agent. Transactional agents, these are agents that just are working on the transaction. They're not thinking about the long term. They're thinking about the short term. This is the person I have in front of me. I want to get them a house, or I want to sell their house so I can get to a closing quick and get a check. But if you look at their calendar, they tend to waste time. They're not doing the things I just mentioned, like prospecting and working on their business. They're not using their time efficiently. Time management is going to be key when you're an entrepreneur, because remember, You start at zero every morning. What you do that day and those hours in that day is your goal, your number one goal. And when you look at your schedule and you plan out your week is, all right, how do I maximize my time to convert money, to convert into money? Because if you work 20 hours this week, or if you work 80 hours this week, nobody's going to give you a paycheck on Friday. It's going to be basically like hunting. You eat what you kill. Use your time efficiently. Transactional agents, they have poor spending habits, right? They take that commission check, they commingle it with their personal funds. They start to pay off things in big blocks and big chunks versus taking that commission check and dividing it by, let's say 13 and say, okay, I'm going to give myself 1/13 of that commission check as a pay. And I'm going to put the rest away into an operating account like another business, like a normal business does. And let's talk about that a little bit. Because I know we talked about finances and we talked about personal budgets and how to do your commission checks. But think about if someone had a store or a restaurant. I go to get a slice of pizza, right? And every time I go to get a slice of pizza at the pizza shop, I go up to the register, the guy says hi, opens up the register, I give him my money, he gives me change back, right? But what if you're sitting there at the restaurant and you're buying a slice of pizza and you hear the guy's daughter come in from the back of the kitchen, Dad, I need a new pair of sneakers, right? And they go, oh yeah, okay. They open up the cash register, here's $100. Probably it happens, but would you think that's a good business practice for that restaurant? That's what you're doing when you deposit your commission checks into your personal account and you use it to pay personal expenses like buying someone a gift or giving someone money or paying a bill, whatever. It's no different than you being a restaurant owner or a store owner, retail owner, and you're taking money right out of the cash register that's supposed to be designed to run the business and you're paying personal expenses out of it. You're commingling your personal expenses rather than using that money from the register, take it to a bank, deposit it into a business account, writing out business checks on expenses on the business, which include payroll. And that payroll portion should go to your personal account. And then you use that payroll portion to pay those personal expenses, not from the business. So think about yourself. And I'm going to talk about this next week when we get into market leader. Think about yourself as a business and the way you spend your time and the way you use your money. Don't commingle it. Convert your time into money and your income, put that into your business, and then pay yourself a salary from your business versus taking that money and putting it directly into your personal account. Because what happens when you put it into your personal account is you start to get poor spending habits. You get an overinflated income and you feel like you have more buying power than you really do. What happens when you mix it in your personal income? You forget to take the important things out of that money, like taxes. You forget to take out money to reinvest back into your business, to keep you surviving, to keep you generating more business, right? So that restaurant, right, they need that money from that register to pay their employees to reinvest into their products so that they can keep that business going. If they just start to drain all the cash out of that register, they're going to be out of business pretty quickly. Poor spending habits. But a career agent, they know their numbers. They have separate business operating account. They have a tax account set up. They know their numbers. They know how many appointments they need to go on a week. They know how many calls they need to make in order to generate the type of activity they want to hit their financial goals. And we talked about that in tools to grow your business. Know your numbers. Transactional agents have no client loyalty. I was listening to the Brian Buffini podcast. If you guys haven't heard it yet, the one that Willie sent out, go back and listen to that podcast. And National Association of Realtors stat says that 28% of people who bought a house last year, not 5 years ago, not 6 years ago, not 7 years ago, 28% of realtors who bought a house last year can't even tell you the name of the agent that they worked with. Why? Why is that? I'll tell you why it is. Because the agent possibly got a call from them on Zillow or maybe even referred by a friend, went and showed them a house, wrote a contract, got them to the closing table and said, hey, good luck with your new house. Talk to you later. And then never followed up with that person, never invited them to a client event, never stayed in front of them, never even friended them on social media, right? They weren't top of mind anymore. And what happens when that happens is it's just a transaction. I can't tell you a person I bought a pair of shoes from last year because it was just a transaction to me. Maybe the guy introduced his name. Maybe they even had a name tag on, but I don't remember. Why? Because it was just a transaction. If you're just approaching clients and prospects as an agent that's just doing a transaction with them and you're not looking to pull them into your database, which I'm going to show you the importance of a database, and you don't have a database where you can constantly stay top of mind with that prospect, they're going to forget about you. And the stats that National Association of Realtors have proves it. So there's no client loyalty there, where a career agent is going to do what I just said in order to receive and repeat, and referral business. That doesn't sound right. Marissa, we got to check that one. To receive, repeat business.
They receive repeat and referral business.
They receive repeat and referral business. Yes. Leave it alone. That's right. I'm looking at it differently. Transactional agents are lead squirrels with low conversion rates. What do I mean by lead squirrels is rather than building a database and going after warm leads, as I call warm leads, which is leads that are referred to you by coworkers, friends, family members, people that are going to be what we call raving fans of you. They go after people that they don't know. They'll spend money on Zillow. They'll spend money on whatever a fancy website they think is going to change their business. They're lead squirrels. They're just spending money to go after leads that are cold prospects and the people that know you, like you, and trust you already. Versus, spending. I was talking to Jennifer Whipple, she's one of our top agents year over years, #1 agent in Rotterdam. 3 weeks ago, Valentine's Day, she did a client event at the Rotterdam office. And I think she's going to post a video that's coming out, but she did a client event and she had pizza for her clients. She had chocolate covered strawberries and just some thank you cards to say thank you for your business. She invited people to come to the office and pop in, say hello, and she had a little gift for them. She sent out an email. She sent out a reminder to them. And when they came in, she got a couple of her clients to do some testimonials. She had a videographer there to do some testimonials and record them. But all in, we did a little video. I'm like, Jen, how much did this cost you? She goes, it's probably going to be, if I didn't do the video, it would have been cheaper, but with the video and everything, probably just under $600. Now, I explained that to a couple agents and they were like, $600? Oh my God, that's a lot of money. But if I was to tally up and I asked Jen, how much money have you made in the form of referrals from the people that were at that event? And we sat down and we talked about two people. Just two people. What happens is when you start to add up and do what I call like a referral tree, I got a lead from this person that turned into an $8,000 check. And then that person referred me to this one. Well, that turned into a $15,000 check, right? And then that person referred me to this one. They sold their house and then they bought with me. And all of a sudden you start to run out of paper on that tree. And I think I sat down with one of you guys before in the past. I did that with a phone call that I picked up and I captured that lead. And rather than just being a transactional agent and showing them a house, what I did was I put them in my database. I followed up with them systematically, even after the sale, after the close. And what happened is a weird thing happened. A few months later, I got a call from one of them and said, hey, my coworker is relocating now. Can you come over and sell their house? And I went and sold their house. That was 400,000. And then somebody wanted to see that house. Well, I had it listed. It wasn't for them, but then I brought them to a new construction site and they bought a $550,000. You sure I'm saying it starts to spiral out of control when you systematically stay in touch with your clients and you get the referrals. That's $600 expense on a room like that, which she loves on her clients. When you do something nice for people, what do they automatically want to do in return? It's the law of reciprocation. They want to just say thank you or sing, be a raving fan basically and say anyone else that's looking to buy or sell a house, you need to contact my agent. The social media post that went out, look at this, chocolate strawberry. She had little stuffed animals for the kids, things like that. And that's going to generate more than that $600 expense. And she gets it because she's a career-minded agent. This is what she does for a living. She's an entrepreneur. She knows the importance of sales and marketing, and having a client event and hosting a client event and getting that repeat referral business is a good business model. Systematic database with higher conversion rates. She's going to convert on a higher ratio. Think about if I went to a listing appointment, Brian Miranda, as many listing appointments as I've been on, and many years as I've been doing this, and many transactions as I've been doing this, right? If I went to a listing appointment where someone knew me and they knew who I was and I was referred in, you got to use Brian Miranda. He's experienced. He's been doing this for years. He's a great guy. He's going to get your house sold. Versus if I just took a phone call from someone that saw me online, they don't know me, they don't know who I am, know me in their community. Which one do I have a better chance of converting? Think about that, right? So your best lead sources are going to be from your database. So we're going to talk about how important that is. Well, hopefully you guys see where I'm going with this. Transactional agents, they're ripe and rotten. They don't seek additional training or education. I talked 2 weeks ago, Tyler was there, Anne-Marie was there. I talked from the stage. This is something I'm adamant about, how we're professionals. People are hiring us to assist them in the purchase and sale. For many of them is their biggest asset. And we don't practice enough. We don't train enough to have confidence. And if you go on an appointment and you're practicing on your appointments, that's where you're deciding to practice and get your experience, you're going to lack that confidence. And how do you think that's going to make them feel? And I say, you think of any other profession, and I use professional athletes as an example all the time. Baseball players, the professionals, professional athletes, they play baseball all their life, right? They played so many games and they have all this experience, but they don't show up at the stadium with the attitude that I don't need to warm up. I don't need to stretch. I don't need to take infield practice. I don't need to take batting practice because I'm a pro. They still do it. Why? Because when they get in the box, they want to be on top of their game. Why? Because it's competitive out there. And in this market, it's very competitive. Brian Buffini also talked about the number of agents in the last year or so. When the real estate market starts to get hot, all of a sudden we get this influx of realtors that come into the market and they start to do well. And there's some agents out there right now that are doing very well. And they think, hey, I had a good year last year. I'm happy. I don't need to train. I don't need to practice. We're in a market right now that's unique, right? It's a result of the economy, the pandemic, and different things right now. And Brian Buffini uses the saying that even turkeys can fly in a hurricane. But when the winds die down, what happens? Those turkeys, they're going to become Thanksgiving dinner. We're starting to see that already. Anthony 𝗨𝗥𝗟'𝘀 used that, remember? That the market's been going like this, going up, and we're starting to see that little tilt, that little curve, where it's going to start to dip down a little bit. And those turkeys that have been flying high right now, as that wind starts to die down and we start to go into a more challenging market, if they're not seeking the additional training, they're not practicing their scripts, their dialogues, their presentations, they're not going to last in this business. And there's a prediction that, I forgot the amount of, it was over close to 800,000 realtors that are getting into in different markets and stuff, but you're gonna see that just drop right off in the next year or two when the market dips. And we've seen that before in the past. So what's the message here? You don't want to be ripe and rotten, right? You want to continue to seek additional training. And the term ripe and rotten came from Jackie Fontaine, one of our agents, seasonal agents. And she says, even though she's been in the business well over 30 years now, she still seeks training. Why? Because your database and your business is like a plant. It's like a garden. What happens if you're not constantly watering that garden? It's going to die off eventually, right? Things are going to start to die out and look. But if you water it, it's going to be green and growing. So you want to be green and growing versus ripe and rotten. And how do you do that? You guys are all on this call and this training. Continue to do this. You know, what'll happen is, and I challenge you guys with this too, is you guys will see essentials posted in the fall, maybe next spring. And I'm like, I already took that training. I don't need to take it. It's constant practice because you're going to pick up something that maybe you didn't pick up in the spring. I know, Maya, you're doing this a second time around. Janelle, you're doing a second time around. Do you guys feel like you're picking up things this time around that you maybe didn't catch the first time?
Yep, it's different than last time. There's always new things being said, new things being shared.
Yeah,
Even
the core outline is similar, but the content is different. So you don't want to be ripe and rotten. You want to be green and growing. So green and growing, constantly seeking more knowledge and more training. All right, transactional agents, low profit margins, and agent burnout. Why? Because they're not managing their time. They're not managing their finances. They're going to have a low profit margin. In any business, you want to be in business primarily to be profitable. If you're not profitable, why be in business? Can anyone tell me a better reason to be in business? Or do you know anyone that starts a business to say, well, I wanted to start this business because I like people and I just want to have more friends? Yeah, you want to have more friends, but you also want to make money doing it, right? You want to be profitable. Well, I started this business because I like going into houses. I don't care about the money. It doesn't make sense at all. Any good business, you want to be mindful of profit. How am I going to be more profitable? Approach it as a career agent versus a transaction agent. Higher profit margins, successful business. That's how you're going to stay above water, is by being profitable. The more profit you have, the more money you could dump into your business, the more you can grow that business, the more successful you're going to be over your career. All right, any questions on this sheet? Transactional agent versus career agent? I think it's important because it's a good segue into this other conversation I want to have about time. All right. So what is your database? Your database is your business. We had an agent, a career agent. She was her own broker at one point in time. She had over 25 years in the business, and she was really good at collecting these relationships, right? Your database is a collection of your relationships, names, phone numbers, addresses, email address, etc. And she would mail to those people, constantly stay top of mind. She would invite them to client events. She did all the right things that we talk about a career agent, that we just talked about what a career agent should be doing. And when she got ready to retire, she bought a property down in Florida, Sanibel Island. And her husband retired from GE and said, Ryan, just want to tell you that we retired. We bought a place. We're selling our place here in Rotterdam, and we're moving down to Sanibel Island. And my initial reaction was, oh, I'm sorry to see you go. That's great. Everyone should retire. She goes, what are you talking about? I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to move my license into the referral network at Miranda Real Estate Group because I've been working closely with Angelo 𝗨𝗏𝗀, I'm giving names away now, 𝗨𝗏𝗀, and he's agreed to be my boots on the ground. I'm going to continue to work my database, meaning I'm going to continue to send out my calendars, my Christmas cards, my holiday list to my database because my phone still rings, even at Sanibel Island. And I said, yeah. You know what? You built that business. You spent years building that database. Why should you just walk away from it? That is an asset, right? That's no different than when you see someone sell their company, right? They get a price for it. They sell their company and they walk away into retirement. Well, she decided, I have this asset. I'm not just going to walk away from it. I'm going to sell it in the way of referrals. I'm going to leverage it in the way of referrals. So what she's done now since probably the 4 or 5 years that she's retired is, I don't know, she's only made about $50,000, $60,000 in supplemental income in the form of referrals. In addition to her retirement that she already had, her Social Security, she also has a stream of income where all she does is go to the mailbox. Why? Because when she gets a phone call that says, hey, Marcia, my daughter's looking to buy a house. Remember you helped me 2 years ago, 3 years ago. We get your newsletters. Oh, thank you for the Christmas card, holiday card. And Marcia says, yeah, great. Hey, you know what? I tell you what, right now I'm currently in Florida, but I'm working very closely with one of my partners. I'm going to have him come over and look at your house or meet with your daughter and help them buy a house. Okay. But don't worry. If you need anything, I'm right here. I'm a phone call away. Great. No problem. Now Angela reaches out, meets with the daughter, goes and sells the daughter a house, gets a $6,000 check, shoots her a referral fee and keeps the rest. Why is that still possible to do? Because she had a database from day one. She built those relationships, well over 500 people that she considers a VIP client, an A, B, C, or D client must have top of mind awareness. So we're going to talk about that. You need to have at least 250 people minimum relationships. Any good agent, successful agent, use a target. You want a goal. We do accountability. We do goal planning. Start with a goal is I want to create a database. This should be every business owner, not real estate agent, every business owner's goal to start a business in your first year. By the end of my first year, I want to have 250 people minimum in my database, meaning phone number, name, address, email address, have them in a system like Market Leader. I don't care if it's Excel spreadsheet or, a system that you can manage to send them information to post so they're aware of your real estate business, so that you're creating that TOMA, that top of mind awareness with them. You want to have an 18 touch system is an example of what you can do to stay on top of that database so that you can create that repeat and referral business. That's going to be much easier to convert than a cold lead, right? Or than having to spend money on leads that, may or may not convert. So we're going to talk about this Project 100 list. Well, because I get all the time from newer agents, well, I really don't know anybody. I had this one agent that came from another state a few years back, and she said, I don't know anyone, but I know a way to start building my database. And I know the importance of the database. I was a broker in Massachusetts, and I still have a lot of connections, even though they're out of state. I'm going to start a new local database here and start to build my business by referral because I understand the importance of it. And what did she do? Immediately, she went and joined her Chamber of Commerce, right? She was getting invited to business networkings, or they call it business after dark. It was once a month, every Wednesday from 5 to 7. She would go there, take her business card, stack of business cards. Instead of sitting in the corner like an S type personality and being quiet, she dialed up her I, dialed up her D, and she started introducing herself and making conversation with other business people. And, oh, you run a flower shop. Oh, you have the hardware store around the corner. Oh, you have this and that. She started making connections. And before you know it, slowly but surely, she put them in her database. She didn't just meet them at that one event. She put them in her database. She sent them her newsletter. She sent them a calendar. She sent them a holiday card. She sent them information so that they would stay top of mind. She would stay top of mind. It was relevant. And before you know it, this person had a coworker. This person had a family member. This person had a friend. This person had a need to buy or sell. And that's how she started to slowly build her database, even from not knowing anyone. But what she also did was use this list. Okay, I might not know anybody, but let me start to think, who do I come in contact with every day? Do I know anyone from my old job? She was in the military. There's a local military base here. She started making connections on the military base so she can get referrals. What happens with people in the military? They come, they either rent or they stay for a short period of time and then they move. Kind of like Marissa, even though Marissa's not in the military, she moves a lot, right? The same thing, you see where I'm going with this, right? Is from sports, hobbies. Do you participate in a bowling league, basketball league? Are your kids in sports, right? Who are the people that you come in contact with when you're communicating with them? You don't want to be that secret agent because everyone's going to ask that conversation is, what do you do for a living? I'm in real estate. Why? You know anyone that's looking to buy or sell? Hey, let me ask you a question. Do you have an agent here locally that you would call on if you had to buy or sell a house? Because if not, I'd like to be that agent, right? That's called a mayor campaign. Just letting people know. It's a soft sell. You don't have to go selling them hard and following them around the baseball field. So you know what else I do? I do this, that. No, just you're introducing yourself. You're making small talk. It's casual. Every now and then what's going to happen is now that top of mind awareness, they might go to work the next day and at the next baseball game. Hey, I was just listening the other day and a friend of mine said that they've been looking on Zillow and every time they see a house, it's gone automatically. All right. Do they have an agent? If not, give them my name and number. Matter of fact, I'll tell you what, if you have their name and number, I'll feel free to reach out to them. I have a few tools I might be able to help them out. What did I just do there? Rather than saying, here's my card, have them call me, I said, give me their name and number and I'll reach out to them. But the benefit is I'm going to make you look good because I have tools that I'm going to help them with their pain point. Remember we talked about identifying what their pain is and then offering a solution. So even indirectly, I could say, oh, their pain is they can't find a property because they're searching on Zillow. I'll tell you what, give them their name and number. I have a few tools, a few strategies. maybe I can help them out. Small conversation. This list goes on and on. Who's your local printer, right? If you guys are getting brochures printed out, we're getting materials like this printed out, go to a local printer, ask the printer, hey, you guys see I'm doing all this real estate material. You guys know anyone that's looking to buy or sell? Is there a place where I can leave my business card here? Do you mind giving me a call from every now and then if you do see someone that refers to the card? I share the example of, it's probably somewhere's on this list, but I remember seeing this list and I remember going to get my car serviced. For those of you guys that were in the Essentials before, you know the story because I told the story. I had an Infiniti and I went over to Leah Infiniti. I dropped my car off. I was just getting an oil change and tires rotated, nothing big. I dropped my car off, but I sat at the service desk and I took the lady's business card. Who services your card? Probably on here. Well, I took the sales manager's or service manager's business card, put it in my pocket. Why? Probably because if I needed anything with the car, I would call that phone number, right? But what did I do when I went back to the office? I wrote a personal note. I used my money bag that we talked about. I used my personal note. You know what that personal note cost me? 30 cents or whatever it was for the stamp and the paper together. And I wrote, Lisa, thanks so much for getting me in today and for taking care of me. Hopefully I can return the favor sometime soon. Brian. And I put my business card in there with a sticker that says, I'm never too busy for your referrals. Mailed it. I didn't hand it to her. I mailed it. She got it the next day. I don't even remember how long it had passed, but I know it was less than 6 months, probably 3 to 6 months later. I get a random phone number. I always answer random phone numbers. If you've been with me and you see a random number, I don't know that number. Hold on a second. I answer it. If I'm not in the middle of something that's important, like, doing a training class here, I'll answer it. Why? Because random numbers are potential leads. That's money. If you let it go to voicemail, we have studies that prove that when people hear voicemail, their natural instinct is just to hang up and call back later, right? So anyways, I answered the call and there's a guy on the other end says he wants me to come over, talk to him about listing his property. No problem. So I go over, I meet the guy. Beautiful house, had to be at the time $350,000 house. Went through my listing presentation, did my thing, got the listing. But I had to ask him, and I said, it didn't come up in conversation. Can I ask how you got my number? He goes, oh yeah. He goes, I was actually bringing my car to get serviced the other day. And I was talking to Lisa. He knows her on a first name basis. I told her how I was getting ready to downsize and move. And she said, do you have a realtor yet? And he said, no. And she did one of these. It was right on her desk. It was pinned up. Hey, call this guy. Pretty good. He's local here. And maybe he could help you out. Oh, gee, thanks. So I was one of 2 other realtors that he called, but I had the referral from someone that he knew that I only met briefly, right? So we had that connection, but it was the personal note that cost me peanuts. But why? Because of this list, Project 100. Who do you know? So you never know where your next lead is going to come from, source. But if you start to work on this list and you start to build this collections of names, she's still in my database. This is going to be how your business is going to be run. Anybody have any other experiences like that where they've gotten a lead or put someone in their database that might be on this list?
I just actually got one from a friend of mine. She has someone moving from Georgia to buy a house here. They sold their house already in Georgia and they're looking to move up here. They came for the weekend and we already submitted an offer on a property before they left to go back.
Nice. And what was your marketing approach to them? What gave them that top of mind awareness?
Well, she's a friend of mine. So she has the friend that referred the clients to me. She does pastries, like she does these beautiful, chocolate covered Oreos and things like that. We're always commenting because they're just so beautiful. I'm always commenting on her page. She sees my real estate stuff. She comments. And actually this time when I met her, we've been talking for 2 years, like back and forth, like on Facebook and whatever. She lives in Schenectady. And this is the first time I actually met her in person. The friend that referred
Let me ask you this though. If someone said, hey, we're having this event, this client event, I want you to come over. You mind picking up some pastries or something? Would this person come to mind?
Absolutely.
Right? So you would want to give that person the business too, right? That law of reciprocation. So that's why when you're taking part of these things too, don't think it's just about, I'm just going to buy pastries from this person or whatever. Like when you're talking to them and they know about what you do too, they're going to keep you top of mind too. And that's how that law of reciprocation works back and forth. So that's why I bring it up. It's when agents think, when I say build a database, they think I'm talking about their close family and their close friends. It could be anyone on this list. Yeah, you want your close family and your close friends. Think about all the people you come in contact or interact with. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, that's okay. The crazy thing is when I first moved over here and I had just started with Miranda, she was actually looking to go for her license as well. And she was asking me about the company and things like that. So I told her, I said, hey, once you're done, and I could definitely talk to my broker to see if, you'll be a perfect fit for our company. So that was our first engagement before the pastries happened. I've always encouraged her to go and get the license, I'm here to help. We have a great brokerage here and we do wonderful things here. So you'll do good. So even when I met her the other day, when we went to go do the showings, I told her, hurry up and get your license so we can get you in, so I kept that relationship like that support that she needed, and that's kind of how we built that trust with each other and that communication.
That's good testimonial there.
Like, just think about all of the people that, like Brian said, like think about all the people that you guys come in contact with on a daily basis. And you may not even be thinking about real estate, but people may know that like you're in real estate already. So it's important to like always have, your public figure face on and good attitude. You might be having a bad day or something when you're out, and then someone might be like, oh, well, I had an interaction with them and they're not very nice or whatever. And when it comes time to when they're talking to their friends, like you want them to be like, oh yeah, they're great. I know somebody.
Yeah.
So it's important to think that too.
That's so true, Marissa. Even when I'm driving and I'm mad at somebody at the stoplight, I don't even be mad. You just never know if that's somebody you're going to be working with. Absolutely. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this list right here. One of the things on here is like, who is your painter, right? So we just had a guy, John, that just came and painted our Clifton Park office. Willie has given a ton of business to John. I don't know how many houses. Did John ever pay for you, Marissa? You might have, I know, no, you had your own guy. But
No, we did our own painting.
Yeah, John has had tons of referrals from Willie through the year. But what you guys don't understand is the amount of referrals that John has given Willie. I mean, Willie can never pay this guy enough money because he's already made thousands and thousands of dollars off of the referrals that come from the painter. But that's not someone that going into real estate career or business that you think of right away is you see someone that's a painter, right? That paints houses and whatever, like think that that's a person that's going to be a potential source of business for you. And it's the opposite of that. You should be looking at people, especially people that deal with anything that has to do with a house, whether it's an electrician, whether it's a carpet cleaner. We had a carpet cleaner. I call him a $300,000 carpet cleaner, a guy named Jim. Why is he a $300,000 carpet cleaner? Because the referrals he's given, he goes into houses. Think about what he does. He goes into houses to steam clean carpets like Stanley steamers, right? And the people say to him, yeah, I want to get these carpet cleaned because I'm getting the house ready to put on the market. He's trained already to say, you have a realtor? Because if not, I know a few good ones. That's the whole idea behind this list. So if you see anything on this list that resonates with you, introduce yourself, let them know what you do, get their business cards, put them in your database, or we're going to talk about how to collect that name, put them in your database so that they can start to be included and know that you're a realtor and have that top of mind awareness. The other thing I want you guys to do is if you have all these people here, friend them on social media, invite them to your social media. Well, look at your personal account and your business account. Can they tell that you're a realtor? Can they tell that you are an active realtor, right? It's one thing to say real estate salesperson on your about, but are they seeing in your images how you help the client? Are they seeing testimonials? Are they seeing you branding yourself? Are they seeing you saying, hey, I attended a training today to learn about improving my business, how to be a career agent versus transactional agent. If you're looking to buy or sell, reach out to me. That's a social media post. Can they look at your social media, whether it's Instagram or Facebook, and tell you are an active real estate agent? Or are you a secret agent? Right? If you're a secret agent, that's okay. That's your business. But if you're not getting that repeat referral business, you're struggling, you're being a lead squirrel, going after leads that are just handed to you or that you got to pay highly for, you're going to get that burnout that we talked about, that agent burnout. So these are going to be tools that I want you guys to really take this list hard. If you haven't done so already, it's on Workplace. It's under Essentials. It's called Project 100. Go through this whole list and start to build your database. I know we're coming up here on 10:30. So let me just see what the next slide is and then we'll move on. So this is just some examples too of online leads. And I don't want to say online leads are bad because that's how you start to build your database as well too when you're first new. Whether you're getting leads from Zillow, Realtor.com, you're getting company generate leads. If you do good service for those people, it'll generate those referrals, right? But you don't want to just do a transaction for these prospects and then never reach out to them again. We want to just have that transaction be the start of the relationship, if that makes sense. The closing is just the beginning of the relationship, not the end. Okay, so I want you guys to think about that. But look at some of these sources on this screen. These are a pillar, we call pillars of business, source of business. Where's your business going to come from? Your database should be number one. Your online leads is another pillar that you could use to drive your business and fuel your business. We're going to hold off here on this slide and we're going to come back, talk a little bit more about pillars, some lead generation tools on that sales and marketing leg. And then I'm going to have Marissa talk to you guys about Improv that we have too, and other software that we have to help you with your marketing and your branding that you could use once you have listings, but also use to create top of mind awareness posts on your social media. So we talked about the importance of a database earlier and start to build it. And next week, we're going to get into, I'm going to actually show you a tool, Market Leader, and how it works in action and how to start to collect those names, information, how you could use that as leverage to start to grow and generate referrals. A couple of other pillars that I want to talk about too, because you don't want to just always rely on one source, but you don't want to be doing 50 different things to generate business, right? Because what happens is it becomes confusing. And we have a saying that the confused mind does nothing. So good practice would be to take 4 different sources, or what we like to call as pillars. Pick 4 pillars. One could be your COI. One of them could be online leads. Another one might be geographical farming, which means just mailing out stuff to a particular neighborhood, picking on the neighborhood and start to mail to it. Other one could be, maybe it's networking through, being part of a chamber, being part of an organization. I know early on in my career, raising my son, I was heavily involved in the Little League and also involved in going to their meetings and helping, volunteering my time. I met a good group of people, parents, and I use that to leverage and start to build some of my networking right now. Matter of fact, I spent money on a banner that they put in center field. Has to be over 10 years now. It's still there. They still keep it in center field. Every year they still put it out there. I don't even remember what I paid for that banner, maybe $120, and it's still generating phone calls and leads and awareness. When you're involved in stuff like that, you never know where that business is going to be. But my point is, you want to try to pick at least 4 pillars. You remember when I was talking about tools to grow your business, I showed you that spreadsheet, how I had those pillars there. And that was to support my business, right? You want the foundation is your database, and then you want the pillars that are going to build it and help you grow your business. That's online leads. These are some great examples of online leads. Other pillars, we talked about geographical farming. That's sending out postcards. And Marissa's going to get into a system and a tool in a little bit here called Improv that generates postcards automatically for you, generate content automatically for you. So if you don't know how to do things, you don't have time, we're going to show you how you can easily generate content that you could start using the post today, especially listing-based content. So what do I mean by that? If you get a new listing that's on the market, where I really want to set myself apart and start marketing this listing and branding myself as well, we're going to show you how easy it is to do that automatically. Doing open houses is it's a pillar, right? It's a source of business. You guys, especially being newer agents, look for those agents that have listings. If you don't have listings already, put it out on Workplace. I'm available this Sunday to do an open house if anyone needs help. I know Justin Esseff's taken advantage of it. It allows him to create posts, to create content on his social media to let people know he's an active realtor. So it kind of works hand in hand. Now, if you sell that house, great, it's a bonus. But the idea of doing an open house is so that you can get in front of prospective buyers that are potentially not working with a realtor yet. Maybe a lot of people are window shopping or they're jumping on the idea of an open house because they know it's important to get into a house quickly. And they haven't even looked for a realtor yet. People do business with who they know, like, and trust. And if they get a chance to meet you face to face, interact with you, have a conversation with you, you're already starting to build that relationship and that know, like, and trust factor. So open houses is a great pillar to do that, to get buyers. Not only to get buyers, but I was very fortunate, very lucky early on in my career by doing an open house. It generated listing leads, believe it or not, because what would happen is whenever I did an open house, I would get a few people in. And if I got 10 people in, I'll guarantee you 3 or 4 of those people that came in were nosy neighbors. They were neighbors that lived in the area that said, I walk by this house every day. I always wanted to check it, see if they had the same cabinets I did or the same layout that I did. And I just wanted to check it out because I'm thinking of potentially, if this one goes quickly, I might even put my house up on the market. Yeah, I might even put my house up on the market. Boom, here's my card. So open houses could lead to conversations about listings as well. It's not just a pillar where you're going to attract buyers. So remember that. I had one open house that I did. It was actually my listing, but I remember doing that open house. I put all the signs out. I put all the balloons out. I did all the prep work. I had all the information there. And I had a lady come through and she was looking at the house and I started to talk to her, made small talk with her. She's like, well, our house is a little smaller. We want to definitely get a bigger house. But my mother just recently became a widow, father passed away and the house is too big. And we would like to, sell her house, sell my house, and then buy a house where we can move her in. So we would need something potentially with a first floor that could be converted into an in-law or something that has an in-law already. It was like in the back of my mind, I was there just to get buyers. And I'm like, ooh, jackpot, right? I just got 3 in one transaction. I'm going to sell my listing. I'm going to sell this other, actually 4 in one. Think about it. They were interested in my listing. I'm going to sell the client's house. I'm going to sell her mother's house. Take that back. It was 3 deals. They didn't like my listing, but I had my listing. I sold that anyways, right? So I'm going to sell that listing, but I picked up a new client. I went and I listed their house. I sold their house, actually right around the corner from the Rotterdam office. I sold their mother's house right on Gilliland Ave. It was a big listing. And then they bought a house from me in Glenville. So I was able to get 3 transactions from doing one open house that year. Just again, you don't know where your business is going to come from. But if you have systematically pillars in place that you want to work to generate leads, you really don't have to get 1 or 2 leads a month from that pillar. And we already showed you guys in Tools to Grow Your Business how you could easily, if you're working your pillars, net over 6 figures, right? It's not that hard to do if you're out there doing the activities. Put your sales and marketing hat on first so that you can worry about your operations and finance after. Doing an open house, standing there is me putting my sales and marketing hat on, saying, I want to be in a position where I could sell to people, where I could generate leads and prospects that I can use to then go out and look for houses or list other houses. That's the operational piece of it. If I'm not doing that open house, to my point, those 2 listings don't happen and that other buyer sale doesn't happen if I wasn't doing the sales and marketing piece of the open house. Does that make sense? Keep that 3-legged stool in mind. It all ties back. Market update flyers, doing the top 10 sales in the community, stats, putting them out there. If the top 10 sales, if they're closed, it's public information. You want to definitely give credit. We talked about it in compliance. If you're going to show someone else's listing that just sold, put in mice print, sold by Howard Hanna, sold by whatever realty it is, if it wasn't one of our listings, right? But you can actually put that in a publication to say, here's the top 10 sales last month in Clifton Park, show pictures of them, give credit to the people that sold the house. Don't take pendings or don't take active listings. You want solds. That's going to be public information that appraisers can look at and people can find out there. You can do market stats. Here's, last month there was 56 new listings that hit the market. There was 67 sales, and here are the top 10 sales in your community. You could do that in a market update flyer and send them out. Brenda Mayette did a great Monday Mastermind call a few weeks back with me where she just showed a simple sample of her market update flyer that goes out to her community. She does it consistently. It's key. You want to do it consistently. But as a result, I think it's 4 or 5 years now running. She's the #1 agent, not in Miranda Real Estate Group, the #1 agent overall in the Scotia Glenville market, which is her market. How does she do it? Sending out mailers, being top of mind. It's a pillar that she works in her business. Got examples here of a food drive we've done too. We have a moving truck. There's nothing stopping one of you guys to say, hey, is the moving truck available on March 31st or April 15th? Pick a date. If it's available, block it out for you. Why? Because I'm going to do a food drive, or I'm going to send out a flyer to a particular community with the proper compliance on it. I'm going to ask them if they want to donate a can for Willie did this with ice cream truck. He rented an ice cream truck for $200 for the day, and he goes through his community once a year. But it's a dual thing, right? He's doing ice cream for the community, but then in exchange, he's getting a canned food item that he's then using to donate. Why? It's a good thing. Remember we talked about ABCs. C stands for community. So not only did he create the awareness, but he created the community, and he uses that on social media to brand himself not only as a realtor, but someone who's involved in the community. So this is how you're going to generate that awareness and not be that secret agent. So here's copies of some newsletters. You guys we have Service for Life. We posted on Workplace. They're templates that you guys can go in and edit and put your branding stuff there. It takes a little bit of effort. You'll have to work on it a little bit, but once you set up the template, you could either use the content that's there or customize it and put your own information in there. So we'll talk a little bit about that, but here's the newsletter that Willie currently does. And you can see it has some real estate in it. People want to know about you. It's kind of like your Facebook page in print, right? If you're sending them something and they're just seeing business, they don't know anything about you. You want to definitely break it up, where I think he uses like a 60-40 on his real estate, where he's talking 40% about business, 60% about him, right? What's up with Willie? What's going on with Willie? You see in the kitchen with Sherry, his wife, some recipes, some different examples of what he uses to send out to his neighborhood, his geographical farm, so to speak, because now he is known. He uses the example when he goes on listing appointments in his neighborhood. It's like the people already know him already and they never met him. Why is that? Because he's been consistently mailing to them, and he'll talk about a vacation that he went on, like right here. And he's talking about hiking, so he might walk into an appointment and they might say, hey, I hiked that same peak. And how did you guys like that day and the view? And you could see this and that. And Willie be like, what are you talking about? I saw it in your newsletter. You went hiking with your team. I know the one example he uses is where the couple resonated with him because he had pictures of a trip that he had taken to France with his family. The one seller brought up, the Eiffel Tower and Paris being her favorite city, but it already sparked the conversation. They already had that connection. Why? because of his newsletter and mailing to that community. Same thing with Sherry's recipes and different things that he's posting in here. But you could see he's putting also market content, like he puts a market update stats in there, right? Market update. So this is information that you guys can now easily pull from G-Cart or even pull from Flex MLS. That's another training, but those are the sources of where he gets the data from.
Ryan, do you have a question?
Yeah, I know we talked about this yesterday, that we're going to have a training on Canva. Is there any past trainings that were recorded at all?
Did we do one yet formally, Marissa, on Canva before?
Well, we did the Canva on Tuesday. That was like how you can use Canva, but we haven't done like a,
More detailed one?
yeah, they have like really good short clip videos that I talked about on Tuesday. I'm going to try to put some of those in Workplace, see if I can share them, but they're like 30-second to a minute videos of like how to actually use Canva. And we have a lot of templates that we can share with you guys.
Okay.
in
Ryan, I
Canva.
encourage you to go back and watch that recording because we talked a lot about some of the stuff I'm repeating here today, the ABCs, social media, and a big part of that, to Marissa's point, was Canva. So I don't know if you saw that one yet. I assumed that you were on the call. I apologize for that, but
Was it posted yet?
Yeah, Tuesday I did miss because I was on a flight, so
yeah.
I
Yeah.
probably just missed that entirely.
So yeah, go back and watch that because if you're looking to brand yourself, market yourself, do a lot of this stuff, that's a call that you really, want to go back and watch and review. Probably will break out Canva a little bit more. On our masterclass, we're going to talk about Canva in 2 weeks.
I'm going to go over pretty much the same things in Willie's masterclass.
Yeah, so plenty of training opportunities to capture that, but yeah, try to go back once we post it, look for it, we'll post it and watch Tuesday's class on branding yourself and telling your story. It's definitely a great PowerPoint that Marissa and Aaron from our marketing firm put on. All right, postcards. So these are generic postcards. These are templates. These are just samples of what you can send out to your farm. Willie's been sending them out for years. So anytime there's a listing, sales, we do have these books that we have that Willie wrote and how to sell your home or how to buy in the Capital District. You guys could buy these books for $5. We have some, I believe, still in stock here. What you can do is you can send out a mailer to, find out, get a free copy of how to sell your home with the book there, just to get potential listing leads. And if someone reaches out to you and requests it, it's a $5, boom, it's worth it to spend $5 for that lead, to send them a book with your, hey, here's a book that my broker wrote with your business card and your contact information inside of it. It's a great opportunity to send them some pre-listing information. So this is the samples of the Can for a Cone client event, charity event. Just another idea, thinking outside of the box of something that you guys can do to just, you want to be known as the authority, the real estate authority in a community, in a neighborhood. And this is a sample of a community event that you could do. Be something along the lines like this. Again, a few $100s for the moving truck or for the ice cream truck paired with the moving truck. And it paid dividends because now Willie is known as the guy that buys the ice cream in that neighborhood. Let me tell you something. If you start to win over kids, I talked about this with an agent yesterday in dish training, especially with the high S's out there that are warm-hearted, family loving. If you can win over their kids and you can win over their pets and the pets like you and the kids like you, the parents are going to want to do business with you as well. So keep that in mind when you're working on community events or client events. Social media. We've been doing a ton of training on social media. Make sure that you're using social media as a key pillar right now in your business to generate that exposure that's going to convert into leads and prospects to feed your database. Remember, this is all designed to feed your database, right? Where am I going to get business from? Where am I going to get contacts and prospects that I can put into my database, right? It's from these pillars that we're talking about right now. Any questions on different sources to generate business from, different pillars?
Brian, is there any one of those lead sources, like to buy leads, where you'll be paying for the leads after the transaction has been closed? Is there any like that?
Yeah, Realtor.com usually does it. Realtor.com just bought a company called OpCity, which I know that, it's probably like a 30% referral fee, 35% referral fee. It depends on the price, which they will give you the lead. And then once it closes, you'll pay a referral fee. Dave Ramsey is another one we pay to be part of that program. But when we get a referral from them, they take 30% referral fee off the top of that. Robin works with them a lot too. So Dave Ramsey, Realtor.com. There's rumors that Zillow's going to that format. They haven't yet. I mean, we've been hearing it now. They have done it. I take that back. They have done it in different markets, not in this market. You're seeing that in bigger markets where they're taking agents, and it's all on conversion rates too. They're giving those types of leads to the agents that can prove to convert. No different than us, company generated leads. Tell you one of the things is when Robin gives you a lead, if you follow up and do a good job, even if that lead doesn't convert, but you're doing a good job, you're communicating well, then that gets you in the funnel for more leads. But if she throws 2 or 3 leads at you, you're not converting any of them, you're not following up, up, you're not communicating with her, she's probably not going to send you more leads. So there's a bunch of different sources out there. But to answer your question right now off the top, the most popular ones where you can pay as you go is look into Dave Ramsey and look into realtor.com. Anything else that you think of that comes to mind, Marissa, that you've heard of from other agents?
I haven't heard of any personally.
Opcity.
I had something cool that I wanted to add though when Brian was talking about farming and like focusing on your neighborhoods and stuff like that. Go on Facebook and see if your community or your neighborhood has a Facebook group. A good example, like when I moved here to Tennessee, we live in like a new development and someone in the neighborhood started a Facebook group and people go in there to like post things all the time. And I actually listed my house in there and I had 3 realtors in the neighborhood and I didn't even know that. So I was like, wow, that's pretty crazy. Like, you know, we have 3 realtors.
I got one more for you.
neighborhood.
How about Nextdoor? You have a Nextdoor app?
Nextdoor app. Yep. That's huge too.
You guys know what Nextdoor is? Kind of like a Facebook for your neighborhood. So people within, I don't know what it is, 3 to 5 mile radius are all posting. You know, they're posting their garage sales, but every now and then you'll get one. Hey, does anyone know a good realtor? You know, they're posting, you know, who's a good, right now we have a snowstorm coming. There's probably like 15 posts in here for people looking to plow or shovel. But when you're on your Nextdoor app here, there's advertising opportunities. And I'm talking about it. I haven't done it, but look who's on top there. It says connecting with neighbors. So are you on it, Janelle? Yeah. So,
All the time, check those notifications.
what's that? You get the notifications?
Yep, I'm checking all day.
Yeah, you'll get like, hey, does anyone know that Big Bang was 2 hours ago? Anyone know why there's helicopters flying up above? Stuff like that. Hey, did anyone see that coyote that's going through backyard? You'll see.
I saw that one too.
They'll post things from their Ring cameras. There'll also be opportunities in there for people looking to buy or sell. So I wouldn't use that to be your typical salesperson in there, but if you start posting stuff from your community or use this as a source, hey, I heard there was a great farmer's market this weekend. You could do that as a post on your other social media sites too. And this could be kind of like something that's going to supply you with ideas of events that are going on in your community. Those are a couple of good tips. Thank you guys for coming on training. But next week, we're going to take all this and we're going to start to put it into Market Leader. The Market Leader is pretty powerful too, because there's a lot of marketing tools that you're going to get from Market Leader as well. We look forward to doing that Tuesday. I know Anne-Marie's working on getting some of those other recordings to us, and we're going to try to post them in the Essentials Real Estate group. So if you guys have any questions, send us an email, reach out, and if not, we'll see you Tuesday.